Please be seated. Greetings, everyone. My name is Dr. Barry Leese. I'm the Program Director of the Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science. It's my distinct honor to serve as the presiding officer for the 165th commencement exercise of the Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science. It is a sincere privilege to welcome all of you for this special event. While we are certainly honored to be joined today to recognize our graduates, I want to just take a moment. Graduates, you couldn't have done this without the people in your lives that provided support, family, friends. I'd like your family and friends, if you would, please stand to be recognized. Graduates, let's give them a round of applause. Family, friends. We have many special and distinguished guests here today, but they may be the most important people, getting you through those cram sessions for business law, firm, dry. What's the other word, Dean Burns? Firm, dry? Clean, firm, and dry, right? So I'm also, though, pleased today to introduce you to some of our other guests who are part of the ceremony today. The PIMS Board of Directors has 3 members, and I'm going to direct your attention to the right. The treasurer of the board, Mr. Kevin Dieterle, the president and CEO of the Institute, Mr. Gene Ogrotnik. And as we like to call him, the admiral of the flagship, chairman of the board, Mr. James Pinkerton. I'm also pleased to welcome some of our consortium partners. Some of you may not know that Pittsburgh Institute has several articulation agreements. Those would be with Point Park University, Gannon University, Thiel College, and the now new Penn West University, which is formerly Cal U. We have a few graduates from those consortium programs, so I am pleased to welcome from Point Park University, Dr. Mark Marnich. And from Thiel College, Dr. Anthony Koss. It's not a PIMS graduation without, last but not least, Dean Emeritus, Dr. Joseph Marcellia. Graduates, today is about you and your accomplishments, but if you would, permit me a moment. As everyone in this church is aware, the world lost a truly amazing woman yesterday as Queen Elizabeth II passed away. At this time, it would be fitting for us to have a moment of silence in her memory. May she rest in peace, and may her family be comforted by her memories eternal. Additionally, in what has become somewhat of a tradition at our September graduation due to the timing of this event, we've made it a practice to recognize the lives that were lost on 9/11. So again, if I might ask everyone for just another brief moment of silence in memory of all those who perished on that day. Thank you. Ironically, in squaring the circle for these 2 events, it was the late Queen Elizabeth, in speaking about the 9/11 tragedy, who offered this quote: "Grief is the price we pay for love." That quote struck me as something very deep and meaningful to our graduates today. And in fact, it's my hope that as you begin your careers, you might consider adopting those words as a de facto mantra. Grief is the price we pay for love. What do I mean? Well, you don't need me to tell you that the grandeur of this day will soon be a memory as you begin your career. This profession often is unfair. It asks of us more than we may be willing to give. It is a selfless vocation not taken lightly. It is not for common people, it is for uncommon people like you. During the oath, we will take a vocation, we will talk about our vocation and swear as Mr. Ritchie leads us through that oath, and it's a pretty intense statement that we're going to say. But that said, you will still be asked to work unpredictable, long hours. You will be invited to families, into the lives of families on the worst days of their life. Each death will bring you its own price of grief that sometimes may bring out the contentious sides of people. There will be days, and you will have them, and I'm sure that all of our distinguished alumni who have joined us also today can tell you. They get up and say, "Why did I choose this profession?" And it is at that time that I would ask you to remember the majestic words of Her Majesty. Grief is the price we pay for love. Because you will do this for the bereaved families who have entrusted their loved ones into your care. Because their grief right now is the price they are paying for the deep love and loss. It is your job to guide them, care for them, and help them move from presence to memory. Finally, graduates, while I know that you know your career in funeral service will not be sunshine and rainbows, those days are going to occur. But I want to leave you with this quote, and I could not find an author for it because it's appearing in various places. But hopefully on those days, this will be your solace. Your good deeds might seem to be invisible, but they shall leave a trail that is imprinted on the hearts of others. Thank you, graduates. And at this time now, I'd like to introduce to you our keynote speaker. In my introductory remarks, I used the phrase family a lot. And for today's speaker, family is the word. For our speaker is the patriarch of a notable funeral service family in Pittsburgh. By no means do I mean any disrespect or this statement as a pejorative, but it's sort of has a nice little ring to it. I've often heard families who call upon this funeral home, sooner or later, it will be Slater. And again, you may have heard that too many times too in your life. But today, our speaker is the fourth generation of this juggernaut family. And while his sons, the fifth generation, are honored guests today to my right, his grandson sits here with us today, that I know that makes him very proud because he is the sixth generation. While our speaker is the patriarch of the Slater family, I contend at the youthful age of 91, he's the patriarch of the entire local Allegheny County Funeral Directors Association. And in what is most likely, most fitting full circle moment for this family is the president of that association is none other than the gentleman seated here, the Honorable Drew Slater, president of ACFDA. Drew, let's stand. So that's the grandson, the man you came here to hear, a man who personifies the term gentle man. Please let me introduce Mr. J. Fred Slater to address the graduates of the 165th class at the Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science. Mr. Slater.
Good afternoon on you all. You know, it's a blessing for me to be here, very much so. Something I never dreamed of. I did bring this bulletin from 1954, the 28th commencement. I happened to be there. And they did mention Uncle John Rebel and Dr. Emery James and Audemars Goldus, the men that really started back in 1939. And those men had great vision, and due to them, we're all here. Let me say, too, that it's in a way a shame that you all can't come up here and see what I see. You're beautiful. It's a blessing to be here and see you folks, and God bless parents and the folks here, and of course the faculty, but you kids. And if I call you kids, don't worry, please. I have a daughter going to be 70 years old in 2 weeks. She's still a kid. And it's glad to see another blonde here, Gene. Glad there's some blondes here. Anyway, folks, it is a blessing to be here with you today. The title of my so-called address is MTC. We'll let that go till the next half hour, and we'll talk to that later on. Well, there's a clock there. It's an hour off. Anyway, I do want to remember 3337 Forbes Street. It was a great place. It's long gone, and it served us all very well. And some of the other fellows here know about 3337 Forbes Street, that's for sure. Anyhow, folks, we want to thank also today the Episcopal Church for allowing us to use their gorgeous facility here. And maybe you know or don't know, but they just got a new bishop, Bishop Ketlin. And she is new to the community. And we want to thank her, too, because we might as well go to the top when we thank. Go to the top and... I'm a phone book user. I have one of those iPad things that, thankfully, Steve gave to me. But I'm a phone book user. And I looked in the phone book not long back to see the PIMS ad. And it said in there, preparing students to become funeral service professionals. So today I've taken the PIMS, and I've changed a few letters around and we'll make a few comments about what I think PIMS stands for and what your careers will stand for. And bless you all. Anyhow, I took the P and I started with the word professional. We all want to be professionals, and we can be professionals. I knew a fella out our way, was janitor of a little church out there, and he was a professional. He's a professional janitor. You may want to call him a custodian, whatever you want to call him, but he was a professional. He took his job totally and completely to his heart and mind. Anyway, the best use of the word, the definition of profession to me was right here. Back when I was in there, they called it the mortician's oath. I think today you call it the funeral director's oath, I believe. You'll be reciting that later on, the funeral director's oath, yeah. And that, to me, is one of the better definitions I've seen of professional. Because professional can do a lot of things, go a lot of places. Welcome, folks. Welcome. Anyway, a professional is how you decide to react to your diploma today and your work. And as Dr. Barry said a little while ago, there will be days you'll go home and you won't be happy with yourself. Literally, though, I had a lot of days I went home and patted myself on the back. And that, too, is just a blessing in life. I'm just one of those that believe all of our blessings come from above, from God, and we are blessed by Him. I'm blessed to be here at 91 years old, and as I said, I'd never dreamed of that before. Number two, folks, be aware of who you're with. Be very aware of who you're with, and listen closely. Listen closely, and evaluate who they are and what they're going through, because they're in a different stage of life. I've heard people say it's the worst day of their life, but I think you see people the way they really are. And I know when my back's up against a wall, that's the way I really am. And that's what the folks are. Get in with them and find out who and what they are and help them as best you can, give the best advice you can, let them make the decisions. My second word is integrity. Integrity is something I think that lives on after us. We either have it or we don't. It's up to us what we do with our integrity. And you can change different words if you choose, but I think integrity is one of the great words in our lives. The people that I remember that influenced me had great integrity, and their lives were just spent on what they were doing and how they behaved. I heard a definition of integrity, and it says what a person does when they know no one is watching. What we do when no one is watching, that's our integrity, good or bad, whatever it might be. That please keep your integrity and keep a high caliber of integrity, and model after the folks that you know have had good integrity. Be very responsible for what you do and say. That to me is very, very important. That started years ago when some fella said, oh, she made me eat the apple, and she said, oh, the snake did it, and then the snake was there. But the buck started a long time ago. We do have some buck passing sometimes today, but please, folks, be responsible for what you do and what you say, and live by it. Be careful what you do and say, but please live by it always. Always live by it. Is your integrity a belief or a conviction? There's a big difference in a belief and a conviction, I think. So what is your integrity? What will it be for you? What will they say after you're gone? I'm not sure what they'll say after I'm gone. I'm sure some will say one thing, but somebody might say something else. But keep your integrity at a high level, please. Next we have maturity. The M is maturity. You have to grow and develop into being a person, a full person in your heart, your mind, your spirit. But please be full in everything you do and be aware of what you do. An old-time writer said, know thyself. Good advice. In the book of Proverbs, it says, and I paraphrase a little bit, as a person thinks, so they are. As a person thinks, so they are. And I luckily stumbled into a book that continued that, and it said, you are not what you think you are, but what you think you are. That's what we are. So what we think is what governs us. So our hearts and minds, keep them on the positive things in life, please. Know your weaknesses. Our strengths are great, but know your weaknesses. Please know your weaknesses and work on them. They are what need worked on. My last word is S, for service. And service is what we are involved in. Funeral service is, to me, what it's all about. It's funeral service. You know, you can buy a casket anywhere down the street. You can buy a casket any place. But you only get certain people in certain places. And so make sure that your service is what and who you are. But be sure your service is what you believe. Now let me read this definition of service. A person devoted and disciplined to a particular calling, challenge, or to what is useful and needed by others. But a person that is disciplined to a certain ideal. Discipline is a word I want to stick with too. We're all disciplined at home, hopefully. Whoever raised us disciplined us to some degree. And then in school, hopefully PIMS disciplined you folks, college or whatever you went to, business school, whatever. To me, discipline came from the military. And I need to tell you a little bit about that story. Back in 1950, the Army decided to start a company called the 630th Graves Registration Company. friend of mine told me about it, and I joined him, and we met a couple nights a week. If you've got the Liberty Tubes and hang a left, there's an old red brick building that's kind of gone down the drain now. It's called an armory, or was called an armory. But we met there for a month or two, then were activated down to Fort Lee, Virginia. But a graves registration company, the one that was formed here, our old friend Eugene Van Horn was the captain. And PIMS had something to do a little bit with the 630th, because we had 2 or 3 graduates who were already in and out of school. In fact, one of our fellows was in school when we were activated at Fort Lee, and he came home on an emergency leave, took a state board and passed it, luckily, went back to Fort Lee. Some of us, of course, went to PIMS after Fort Lee. But I want to tell you about Sergeant Mullins. Sergeant Mullins was really a drill instructor. I mean, he was under our thumb. We were under his thumb for about 12 weeks. He was a drill instructor. He did the whole ball of wax. And that man, he used some language on us that our mother would probably hit him with an umbrella, but he did use some language on us. But on the first Sunday morning at Fort Lee, I think around 8 o'clock, he walked into our barracks. And back then, barracks had 10 bunks here, 10 here, and 20 upstairs too. He blew his whistle, and he said, you will be out on the parade ground with your Class A uniform and your neckties and your caps in 40 minutes. Well, Sunday morning, we were all lollygagging around thinking we were going to suck our thumbs. We didn't. He lined us up. We walked down a couple of streets and stopped in front of the building. It was a chapel. And Sergeant Mullins said, gentlemen, which impressed us, when you put your first step on that porch, you'll notice there's a canopy over the porch. When in the Army, when you're undercover, you uncover. So we got our left foot in that porch and took our caps off, and the church went. But what impressed me was I happened to be in the last row, and Sergeant Mullins stood there the whole service. And when prayer time came, his hands were folded almost with a white knuckle, and his lips were moving. Now, what he was saying, I have no idea. But I have to think that Sergeant Mullins was saying his prayer at that point. My point is that Sergeant Mullins gave us discipline, and he was very self-disciplined. And self-discipline is something that we all need. We all need self-discipline. It's up to us to do it or not do it, but we need self-discipline. I'm now at the point where we come to the MTC, the point of my talk. And before I review what MTC is, maybe you folks have even thought about that. But MTC is an issue that yesterday's gone, yesterday's history. Today, tomorrow is a mystery. That leaves today. So the MTC is make today count. And start today, and every day, folks, stick it up on your mirror in the morning, or you see in the morning, or your refrigerator, but MTC, make today count. We as funeral service personnel should come by that very easily, affect one person, maybe 2, maybe 10, maybe 20. But dear folks, make today count. That can be done very easily. You can help somebody across the street, or tell somebody you love them, or whatever. But my plea today, totally, folks, my total plea for this entire being here today is make today count. God bless you, and amen.
Thank you, Mr. Slater. Hopefully your message is well received, because we certainly are in a profession that each and every day we get the message clearer than anybody else that could be someone's last. So make today count. At this time, I'd like to invite Chairman James Pinkerton to the dais here. Mr. Pinkerton. Mr. Pinkerton, I'm going to ask you to assist me in giving Mr. Slater an award, a plaque from our school. I will read its inscription, and then I'm going to ask if you would please hand it to Mr. Slater. Mr. Slater, would you stand and join Mr. Pinkerton in the front there? This plaque is inscribed. Thank you for making each and every day count, J. Fred Slater. In honor of and sincere appreciation for your lifelong dedication to funeral service, you represent the best of the profession with your genuineness, kindness, and unselfish service to all. You are the consummate professional and a true gentleman who shall be respected by all for all time. The Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science recognizes you at this 165th commencement exercise with the award for distinguished service and leadership presented on this 9th day of September 2022. Thank you, Mr. Slater. Mr. Pinkerton.
Thank you, everybody. If you can hear me, please. One last thing. Please remember to make each of you count. But love. Agape love, the true love of people. And if some people want to be a jerk love, but please treat your people, everyone you know, with the love that you can. God bless you, and thank you very, very much.
Thank you again. At this time, we have the reciting of the funeral service oath. I'm going to call our faculty member, Mr. Nicholas Ritchie, to the podium to lead us in that oath. Mr. Ritchie.
Good afternoon, everyone, and again, welcome to our commencement ceremony today. As I say every year that we have our commencement ceremony, it truly is an honor to be here, and to those of you graduating, it truly has been an honor to work with you over the last year to 2 years. Before I give the funeral service oath, I have one matter of business that some of you know where this is going. It's a weekly tradition that I have in the classroom that I carry over to graduation, and it's called Today in History. Each day that I am blessed to be with all of you, I have a person who died on Today in History and a little inspirational quote from that person. So I figured it would be fitting to wrap it up with one today. However, it's a little bit different. Today in History had 3 significant people. One was referred to as William the Conqueror, the other the father of the hydrogen bomb, and another was a communist dictator. So I didn't know how that would go, referring to any of those 3. And I quickly figured that we should just go in the total opposite direction there. And I mean that figuratively and literally. So literally, today is September 9th, which is Friday. I switched over to Monday, and boy, do we have a good person that died on Monday in history rather than today. Some of you may know this person as Mother Teresa, an Albanian-born Indian Catholic nun, founder of the Missionaries of Charity, and won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979. She died on Monday in history. The quote of the day that I have to share is actually a prayer/poem that was found written on a wall of Mother Teresa's home for children in Calcutta, India. Some of you may have heard it before. It is based on a composition originally by Kent Keith, but she edited it and adapted it and put her own spin on it. So your quote of the day before I present the funeral service oath. People are often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyway. What you spend years creating, others could destroy overnight. Create anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten. Do good anyway. Give the best you have, and it will never be enough. Give your best anyway. In the final analysis, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. And I think if you take each of those lines and apply them to your everyday career and funeral service moving forward, I think they can guide you in many different directions that are all for the positive. So at this time, would our graduates please stand? And you will recite after me the funeral service oath. You can find it on the back page of your program, but I will go nice and short, line by line. You will repeat after me, please. I do solemnly swear by that which I hold most sacred, that I shall be loyal to the funeral service profession and just and generous to its members, that I shall lead my life and practice my art in uprightness and honor, that into whatsoever house I shall enter, it shall be for the benefit and comfort of those bereaved, that I shall not let the constant relationship and familiarity with death give me cause to yield to carelessness or to violate any obligation to society or to the dignity of our profession, that I shall abstain from every voluntary act of misconduct and corruption, that I shall obey the civil laws, and that I shall not divulge professional confidences, and that I shall be faithful to those who have placed their trust in me. While I continue to keep this oath unviolated, may it be granted to me to enjoy honor in my life and in my profession, and may I be respected by all people for all time. Thank you, graduates. You may be seated.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie. Good choice on moving the birthday. I would agree with that one, or the death day. At this time, probably the moment we've all been waiting for, we present the class, the 165th group of graduates from the Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science, and no one does it better than our Dean of Faculty and Students, Mr. Michael Burns.
Okay, folks. Every commencement ceremony offers me the opportunity to say a few brief words to this class, and today's no different. Today I want to remind you of two important things to take with you. One is the obvious. Do not call out the answer until I ask the question. I'll point to you. What three conditions must be met before any restorative artwork is done? Perfect military precision. Thank you. The second is a little more obscure. Never lose your humanity. You may not be familiar with Margaret Mead. Margaret Mead was a famous anthropologist who studied the human race for decades. One time she was asked by her students, when did the human race originate? The answer they were expecting was when man first made pottery, or smelted iron, or maybe even when they could control fire. But that was not her answer. She told of a story where archaeologists found a human femur from a female, a leg bone, that had been broken and healed. Stunned, the class begged for more. She said when a tribe member broke their leg or became virtually useless to the group, they were cast off. They couldn't keep up with the travels. They couldn't collect food or water. They couldn't hunt. After all, it was survival of the fittest. But this broken and healed bone told another story. It takes 6 to 8 weeks for a bone to heal. Someone stayed with this woman for that long. They fed her, gave her water, and kept her warm. That helper was the first human. That's when humanity was discovered. Now, you've heard us say before that police run to those in need, EMTs run to those who are hurt, firemen run to those who are in danger. Funeral directors run to those who are grieving. Grief is the great equalizer. No matter the color, the gender, the religion, or the political affiliation of someone who's grieving, run to them. Show us your humanity. Because I'm a funeral director, and soon you will be, my humanity states that I have your back. Hopefully you have mine too. And even though right now you may be sitting next to a business competitor, in the end, humanity will win, and we will all have each other's back. Congratulations to all of you. I now have the honor of presenting you the 165th class of the Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science. I'm going to ask Dr. Lees and Mrs. Alashko to please step to the dais. First, for those receiving their diploma in embalming and funeral directing, please step forward. Kayla Lee Boring. Rachel K. Ecoff. Former member of the U.S. Navy and a former ensign at PIMS, Lucrezia McIntosh. Former ensign at PIMS, Ashley N. Steele. For those receiving their associate and specialized technology degree in funeral service and arts and sciences, please step forward. Member of the Senate and an ensign, Madison Taylor Acor. Member of the Senate, Daniel J. Bruno. Jenna Beth Burton. Member of the Senate and Ensign, Ashton S. Camerat. Member of the Senate and an Ensign, Adele Davis. Morticia Alicia Dias. Andrew Christopher N. Gardner. Ryan Henry Fosnot. Megan Mackenzie Ferris. Christopher Fruchon. Graduating cum laude, Taylor N. Funari. Jack Clark Garrett. Graduating cum laude, Jeffrey D. Gruber. Graduating summa cum laude, Catherine Ann Tilly Helt. Christine Isabel Melendez. Jillian Michelle Paluch. Former Ensign Catherine Junio Pingree. Former Ensign Shanika L. Russell. Graduating magna cum laude and an ensign, Abigail Ivy Smith. Shaylin Ray Stanzakowski. Ensign Lexus Nicole Twentier. Graduating summa cum laude, Livia Veltri. Joyce D. Williams. Former member of the U.S. Army, David A. Wright. And former Ensign Pierce Thomas Yonner. For those receiving their associate and specialized business degree in funeral service management, Zachary A. Fiddler. Former member of the Senate, Morgan Marie Ivol. Riley Elizabeth Miller. As Dr. Leeson mentioned earlier, PIMS has a consortium agreement with a few Pennsylvania colleges and universities. How this works is that after 3 years of study at their schools and 1 year at PIMS, these institutes of higher learning grant our students a bachelor's degree in funeral service. When I call your name, if I can have those officials please step forward. From Teal College, Dr. Anthony Koss, Chair of the Business Administration and Accounting Department, He will be presenting a bachelor's degree to Madison A. Core. Please step forward. And Ashton Camerat. Thank you. From Gannon University, Dr. Paris Baker could not be with us here today. I'll ask Dr. Lees to please stand in his absence. But those receiving a bachelor's degree from Gannon University are Taylor Funari, Catherine Pingree, Shaylin Stanzikowski, and Pierce Yonner. Congratulations, thank you. From Point Park University, Dr. Mark Marnich, Professor of Mathematics in the Department of Natural Sciences and Engineering of Technology, will present a bachelor's degree to Catherine Helt, and Jillian Paluch. Thank you, Dr. March. Now finally, if all the graduates would please stand one more time. Move your tassel from the right side to the left side of your cap. To all with us today, I present to you the 165th class of the Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science. You may be seated. Now, while we consider all of our students to be special, there are a few that have proved themselves to be outstanding in certain aspects of the profession. So we have a few awards to present to them, and I have the honor of presenting these awards. The first one is the Memorial Award. Be it known that this Memorial Award was established to commemorate the contributions made by the alumni, students, and faculty of the Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science in the service of their country. The recipient, who was chosen by his or her classmates, is the graduate who, through qualities of leadership, professional conduct, and good citizenship, best typifies their ideals. It is hereby awarded this 9th day of September, 2022, to Jonathan Shirley. Unfortunately, Jonathan could not be with us today, so we will accept the award in his honor. At this time, I'm going to ask Michael Berner, representative from the Kelco Chemical Company, to please step forward. Be it known that the Kelco Chemical Restorative Art Award was established in recognition of outstanding ability, attitude, commitment, and achievement in the areas of restorative art and cosmetology, who, in the opinion of the clinical faculty of the Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science, merits this recognition. It is hereby awarded this 9th day of September, 2022, to Jillian Paluch. This award includes a plaque provided by the Kelco Chemical Company. If Matt Black, representative of the Dodge Chemical Company, will please come forward. Be it known that the Dodge Award was established to recognize a student who has demonstrated both exceptional and theoretical expertise throughout the entire embalming curricula practicum. It is hereby awarded this 9th day of September, 2022, to Catherine Helt. This award includes an embalming kit provided by the Dodge Chemical Company. TJ Roser, if you'll please step forward. He's the Funeral Director Coroner Liaison from CORE, the Center for Organ Recovery and Education. The Center for Organ Recovery and Education has established a Pledge for Life Scholarship Fund. It is awarded to one student who is enrolled in the Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science and who can demonstrate that they will make an impact in the field of organ, tissue, and cornea recovery. The scholarship is funded through CORE's Partnership Strategies Committee by delegating funds given in memory or honor of an organ, tissue, or cornea donor or a transplant recipient. With over 123,000 people waiting for life-saving transplants and many more in need of tissue or corneas, this scholarship will help develop professionals who can make a difference in these people's lives. It is hereby awarded this 9th day of September, 2022, to Daniel Bruno. This award includes a check from CORE in the amount of $500. Mr. Paul Bowman will step up, please. Vice President and General Manager of the Champion Company to give his award. Be it known that the Champion Award for Mortuary Science Excellence is a criteria-based award of merit. This award bears the namesake of the company that was focused not only on providing state-of-the-art chemicals and products, but as indicated in the credo for its expanding encyclopedia, the Champion Company is dedicated to the furtherance of knowledge and education for the funeral service profession. This award is presented to the student who is recognized by the members of the PIMS science faculty to have demonstrated an overall scholarship, aptitude, attitude, and practical skills, specifically in the core science component of the curriculum of the Institute. It is hereby awarded this 9th day of September, 2022, to Abigail Smith. This award includes the engraved plaque with a credit to the Champion Company for $500. The next award is the William J. Masmano Memorial Award. Be it known that the William J. Masmano Memorial Award was established as an award of merit in recognition for outstanding ability, attitude, commitment, and achievement in the clinical embalming lab practicum, who, in the opinion of the clinical faculty of the Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science, maintained the highest standards of decorum, professionalism, proven skills in the clinical embalming arena. It is hereby awarded this 9th day of September, 2022, to Madison Acor. This award includes an embalming kit provided by Mr. Wayne Irvine, a graduate of PIMS, who also won this award, and a $500 check presented by the PIMS Board of Directors. The next award is the John Riebel Award and the ACFDA Moon Award. If I have Drew Slater and Ashley Lariakis, please step forward. Be it known that the John Riebel Award was established by PIMS as an award of merit in recognition of outstanding scholastic achievement in all branches of the curriculum at the Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science. The Allegheny County Funeral Directors Association offers an award entitled the Sam Moon Award, also for outstanding scholastic achievement in all branches of the curriculum. It is hereby awarded this 9th day of September 2022 to Catherine Helt. Catherine maintained a 4.0 average in her entire time at PIMS. The award includes a check for $250 from the Allegheny County Funeral Directors Association and a check for $500 from the PIMS Board of Directors. If Mr. Agronic will please step forward to the dais. Be it known that the Eugene C. Ogrodnik Entrepreneurial Award is a criteria-based award of merit. This award is presented to the student who demonstrated the qualities of stewardship, scholarship, and leadership. These qualities are indicated of the man who bears the namesake of this award. Through his passions for education, visionary prowess, and keen business acumen, he established the legacy of the Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science while shaping the future of the funeral service profession. In honor of his namesake, the award is presented to the student who, as recognized by the core business faculty of the Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science, is deemed to have the entrepreneurial spirit and greatest potential to impact the funeral industry at large. It is hereby awarded this 9th day of September 2022 to Abigail Smith. This award includes a check for $500 from the PIMS Board of Directors and is matched by Mr. Eugene Agronic and his wife Karen in the amount of $500 for a total of $1,000. This next award is called the Mu Sigma Award. At this point, I'm going to ask the recipients to please step forward first, and then I'll read the information. Please step forward, Jeffrey Gruber, Catherine Helt, and Abigail Smith. The Mu Sigma Award. The National Association of Colleges of Mortuary Science has established an honorary society to give recognition to those students of mortuary science who've displayed outstanding merit in scholarship, who have conducted themselves as good citizens of the schools they have attended. The recipients of this award have been carefully screened by the faculty and constitute 10% of the graduating class. The name of the society is Mu Sigma Alpha, which stands for Mortuary Science Award. The award includes a pin. When you receive this pin, you will see the symbols which are engraved thereon, being an open book placed over the spray of laurel and a lighted lamp, and the word award. The book is the symbol of knowledge and wisdom of all the ages. The book is open to indicate that knowledge is available to all mankind. The spray of laurel designates a symbol of achievement. The lamp of learning is a symbol of scholarship, diligence, and perseverance, irrespective of time. The word award is added for all those to know the purpose of the award, to honor those who qualify and are chosen. Cherish this award, for it is our way of recognizing what you have done while you were with us. It is our confidence that you will go into the chosen profession, and you will not only be graduates of whom we are proud, but also ones who will carry in the years to come the high standards which you have so outstandingly demonstrated while completing your education. Congratulations.
Dean Burns, thank you for, once again, one more round of applause for our graduates. It's customary that we offer closing remarks from you, our students, and we have two students that will be addressing the group here today. We'll start with Catherine Ann Tilly Helt, and then Jeffrey Gruber will follow with closing remarks to all of you. Catherine.
Hello, everyone. For those of you that know me, I'm sorry you have to hear me talk again. I know you're probably sick of hearing from me after spending a whole year in the classroom together. But for those of you that don't, my name is Kat, and I was lucky enough to be granted the opportunity to speak on behalf of Class 165. If you can't tell, I'm a little nervous. There's a lot of you. But I'm honored to be able to offer a few remarks. As I look out at this graduating class, I see familiar faces of the people that I've spent the last year getting to know. And I see new faces of the online students that could be here with us today to celebrate this monumental occasion. But no matter if you were on campus or online, we all have one thing in common: surviving our time here at the Institute. We all knew before coming to PIMS that it wasn't going to be easy, but coming to PIMS during a global pandemic made it that much harder. I won't go into the details because I'm sure everyone's sick of hearing about it, but besides the pandemic and the hardships that it brought, many of us faced other challenges outside of the classroom, like surgeries, illnesses, and a death or two. But despite the hardships that life had to throw at us, we endured. We are sitting here today because of our resilience and determination. That alone deserves to be celebrated. If no one else says it to you today, I want each and every one of you to know that I am proud of you and all that you accomplished. When we leave here today, whether it's to stay here in Pittsburgh and begin your internship, or go down to Wisconsin to start a new life, or actually implement your business plan from small business management, I want you to remember your time at PIMS and all the memories that you're taking away. Like Restorative Art Lab Weekend, where you learned how to reconstruct a skull and how you never want to make another ear or place an eyebrow again. Or cramming for an exam over lunch that you didn't have time to study for. Or maybe it was the people that you met that started out as strangers, but soon became your very best friends. Now you're inseparable. And I know that I'm the one standing in between you and your restaurant reservations, so I'll make this quick. PIMS has taught us so much more than I think any one of us realized. From how to embalm correctly and ethically, from operating a crematory, all the parts on the casket, or even how to pronounce the word cotton correctly. But the most important thing PIMS taught us was how to be good funeral directors. We learned from each of the instructors, as well as each decedent, that we had the privilege to embalm that allowed us to hone our skills in the prep room. There's a Latin phrase that reads, mortui vivos docent, that translates to, the dead teach the living. And that couldn't be more true for us as funeral directors and the families that we will serve. It's now our turn to take what we've learned and make our impact in funeral service. I have no doubt that this graduating class will do good things and make this school and profession proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat. I was remiss, I should have mentioned that the speakers, one is from our campus program, one is from our online program, but I think you got the gist there. Kat was the campus representative. Now Mr. Jeffrey Gruber is our online representative to address us with closing remarks. Jeffrey.
Again, I tried to get up here fast so we can get out of here earlier. Again, my name is Jeff Gruber. I'm from the Distance Education Class 1051. Well, this is irony at its finest. A couple years ago, my son graduated high school 5th in his class. I asked him, I teased him, why not 4th, 2nd, or 1st? He looked at me and said, Dad, the top 4 have to give commencement speeches. I didn't listen and learn, I guess. I knew back in 8th grade that I wanted to be a funeral director. My mom used to be a secretary at a funeral home, and she asked, do you want to earn some money? Well, what kid in 8th grade doesn't want to earn some money? So 40-some years ago, I learned that I wanted to be a funeral director. All of 8th grade, my speeches, my class reports were all about the funeral home. My teachers used to look at me with raised eyebrows and thought I was off my rocker. Things unfortunately didn't go as planned for me for school, as nature had other plans for me. I did have the opportunity while working as a paramedic based out of a funeral home to work with a great guy, James Pinkerton. He helped keep that spark alive for me as life went on. I always tried to help out when I could on that side of the business. Then I had the pleasure of meeting my current boss, Steve Bones. I helped Steve when I was providing police escorts for his funerals. He's the one that persuaded me to go back to school and get into this profession. Once again, the spark was back. After my father died in 2018 and I got his estate and affairs in order, I had the opportunity to go to school. Opportunity knocked and I finally answered 40-some years later. I knew it would be a 2-year process for online students, so I took the plunge. I applied at PIMS and was accepted. Now at the age of 52, having never taken an online class before, working full-time, how was I going to make this work? The staff at PIMS was more than helpful and more than encouraging, pushed me along throughout my tenure as a student. There were times when I thought that I was not going to be able to make it, but the staff always had good words and continued to encourage. Being an online student gave me the chance to still work full-time and get my studies done during very limited free time. We still had deadlines to meet, but we could work at our own pace. Thinking back on it, those 2 years flew by. But while in the midst of those 2 years, it seemed to drag. I spent many hours at home and at camp, books and laptop on my desk, on my lap, paper strewn all over the place, studying like crazy. This old man felt like I had to compete with you younger students. The brain gets fuzzy after a few decades of being out of school, so I had quite the challenge. Never thought I was going to pass some of these classes. I was once told that a grade of a D stood for diploma. Obviously, I strived for more than that. The online students were like my second family. They continued to push me through. I then met my embalming preceptor, Mr. Pat McGowan. Boy, did I learn a lot. You know, that good hands-on stuff? Just to remember, soap on the sponge, not the body. I was learning many tricks of the trade. He worked effortlessly, teaching me different ways to get the job done. I'm grateful for my opportunity to work with him. All this effort and work quickly came to an end. Now came time for testing, the school comps, national boards, and in our future, state boards. Talk about stress. Felt like it was going to be a battle, but again, the staff and members of PIMS continued to push us through. All this time, effort, many hours of studying have led us to today. We now go forward to make our mark in our communities and to carry on the fine profession of being funeral directors. Good luck with your futures. I look forward to working with many of you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. It is our tradition, before we conclude our services, that we sing America the Beautiful. And at this time, I would like to invite Kayla Lee Boring to lead us in that song. Kayla. Kayla, thank you for an inspired rendition of America the Beautiful. All we have to do is conclude our services today. So again, on behalf of the graduates, thank you, friends and family. Thank you all for your attendance. And in the immortal words of Todd Beamer on 9/11, let's roll. Thank you, everyone.